Yes, that was our intro. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Chase Steele Gray, and this is the Daily Huddle. So proud to be here as always, and I mean that. You know, it's so interesting. I will start out today by saying, oh, and by the way, for those of you who weren't in the intro, I'm Chase Steele Gray, singer, actor, engager, host, curious soul, one of your hosts on the Daily Huddle. Welcome to Health and Wellness Wednesdays. I need to say that for those of you who are new. I don't want to slight you or give you less of the experience. So let's get that right out of the way. So, in general, I just want to say this quickly before I get into this amazing presentation. You know, we are so open to so many energies, or we have the possibility to be open to the energies. And this guest today came to me so organically. I'm just like mesmerized at what's going to happen between me and this gentleman. I think that the energy from this gentleman was so pure and so clear that it was absolutely meant for you, as if someone made like a special dish for you and brought it to your table for you to eat, just as you asked it, just the way you asked for it. I would love to invite my brother Sorrel Kitan to give you a little bit of information about this young man, as I am on my phone today. I want to make sure the information is properly dispersed. Sorrel, if you would tell us about Mr. Daniel Fresco.
It is my pleasure to introduce my new friend, Daniel Fresco. Daniel is a professional drummer, folks, consciousness coach and personal trainer who specializes in holistic health and wellness approaches. Through the power of sound healing, somatic movement, and guided meditation, Daniel combines various modalities into a uniquely integrated system for healing and transcendence in life. And Chase, I believe Daniel might help you master the air drums. Daniel, welcome.
I love it. All right. Well, you know what, Daniel, there's so many ways I could start this conversation, but please tell us a little bit about yourself, how you arrived at this area of all these modalities and all these things that are going on with you that are so wholesome and pure and integrated into your drumming. How did that begin?
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Number one, I'm so stoked and excited to share with you a little bit about my journey. And really, how I arrived at all of these different practices was because I felt that there was something out of balance within my own body and my own being and in the world as well. And I wanted to go about the process of discovering how do we bring our inner world and our outer world into harmony and into balance. And that started musically in church. I played as a church drummer as a young boy. And I discovered that there's something about music and vibration that enlivens something in us and that makes us want to praise into the heavens and to be grateful for life. And there's a positive energy that happens when we all sing together. That was number one. And then later in life, I started dealing with a lot of chronic back injuries and chronic alignment issues in my body and in my physical experience. I was always in pain. And that brought me into natural movement and somatic movement, getting into the deeper energy body and how do we get back into nature, rewilding our bodies and clearing the mind. So I got into meditation. So like a lot of different avenues started exciting me and getting me curious about really the deeper, subtle energies that are playing out in our thoughts and in our actions and in our motivations. And then how do we begin to reconcile it with our heart energy and with the chakras, right? And with the cosmos. So just there's this curiosity. I guess that was how it really started. I just wanted to know what was going on, really.
Right. And here's the thing, and this is a compliment to you. Somehow, some way, this is an interesting thing. So maybe you can help me balance this out.
Mm-hmm.
As we're going through life, the things that are seamlessly flowing around us that we can just grab, like can picture a conveyor belt, and on the conveyor belt is happiness and love and fruitfulness and colors, you would just sit there and just grab them one by one, right? When
Hmm.
the other things came, ridicule, jealousy, vindictiveness, you probably would not grab them. You'd be like, oh, no thanks, no thanks, right? So the reason why I said it that way, and I've never used this example before, I don't know where this just came from. When we are going along in our journey and I meet someone like you, it was like, okay, put your hand in the glove. It was no problem, it was nothing. Yet, and this is the question to you, it seems as though certain energies that are present in my life now, certain energies that come to me through something else. How do you define when an energy shows up in your life that's completely toxic, completely not what you want? Are they attracted to your light, or are you attracted to their toxicity because you haven't learned yet how to stay away from it?
Yeah, that's a very powerful question. And this is where we get into discernment in the soul's journey, right? Because we're all souls, we're all moving through the physical body,
Right,
having our lesson plan, right? It's all a curriculum. This is a life curriculum that we have going for us. And every single person's unique journey is going to bring them the lesson plan they need to
right,
enter into transcendence, right? To move beyond the challenges to a certain degree. And so when we're moving about and you see that conveyor belt, right, there's a constant stream of options, right? And different choices that we can make. Each one presents a certain experience that you need to move through as a soul to get the lesson you need to be able to manifest in your highest vibration. And because life is dual, right? We have duality, we have right and wrong based on our belief systems and based on how we've learned. There's certain choices that we almost have to make that are going to be, as you would say, learning the hard way, if you will. And so for us to get to a connection like this, where it just happens spontaneously, we're following the energy, sometimes we need to go through some really difficult times of being in doubt or being in a lack of faith, I guess I would say. And you notice it. You can see in the beings around us who are kind of choosing potentially a tougher lesson plan. And both are not bad, or there's not really a good or bad. But what I would say is that when you start to tune into the inner awareness or the intuition, there's just a knowing. You just kind of know what to do, you know where to go because you're following what's exciting for you. You're following what's true and authentic in your energy body and who you are. But when we're not authentic, we're going to choose something that potentially has a motivation of gaining something or getting something out of it, right? Which is not of the true vibration of reciprocity and love and like all these vibrations of love, like they don't necessarily want anything other than to be what it truly is. And so anytime you're not in that vibration, you're going to be out of resonance with your life, and there's going to be seeming a resistance of some kind or a lack of clarity, and maybe a really difficult set of events may happen that will bring you back to that true vibration, right? And it's all necessary, right? It's all good in the end. It's just a matter of how you're seeing it. This is where we get to perception. Perception is the most important, I would say, level of awareness that we can get to because it shows us how are we choosing or how have we learned to see the world in a way that's going to bring us the certain lesson we need to get, right?
interesting, very interesting. I'm going to challenge you for a second.
Please, please.
When was the last time someone came to you with completely imbalanced energy, negative, toxic,
Hmm.
whatever, either coming at you for something you did or coming at you, had nothing to do with you, you fell into it? And how did you deal with it?
Yeah, I would say, well, I guess I can backtrack to a point where I kind of went through an awakening process, right?
Okay.
I arrived through meditation and through the study of sacred scriptures, and I realized that my external world was always going to be the reflection of how I chose to see it based on the label that I used.
Right.
And so now when I look around and I see the world that we live in, I don't really see it in terms of black and white. I don't see it in terms of, oh, this is a negative situation. This is a positive situation. This person's coming at me with that weird energy. I don't know how I feel about it, because as soon as you make it personal, as soon as you make it a personal thing, then there's a potential for the energy to become polarized, right? That's what polarization is.
Right.
So I don't know if I can necessarily come up with an example of your question, but I would say that if and when someone was presenting in a way that I felt was out of resonance,
Right. That's what I mean. Out of bounds. Yeah.
right, out
Let's
of
not
balance.
categorize it. Just stay out of
No,
bounds.
of course, of
Yeah.
course. I mean, I see it every day. You see it every day if you get on the
Yeah.
subway. You see it every
Right.
day
Right.
out in the world, right? And so what I choose to do is actually to become the observer. And I would say that that's actually the biggest and most important first step to true meditation is to become just an observer, right? Because the observer doesn't become involved or it doesn't label what it's seeing. It just sees it for what it is. That's the most important point that I can share today is that in your life, if you're presented with a potentially negative feeling energy or situation, try to bring yourself into the observer or the witness point of view and you'll notice that actually the situation can change completely. Or you'll see a gem, you'll see some wisdom, or you'll see a way that you can show up in a higher way that will actually change the entire situation and bring about a positive outcome. And that's something that I do in my
Right.
practice. Right. Yeah.
I honestly do this in my life. I do. But
Mm-hmm.
somehow some things has slipped in the crack. And like you said, there's more learning there in those
Mm-hmm.
spaces. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right now in this particular great answer, by the way, I appreciate that. Um uh in this current time where we're
Mm-hmm.
dealing with some very challenging things in life. You can pick any topic right now across the most important of the topics, in my personal opinion, that people are going through right now, right? We're talking
Mm-hmm.
about the hate in the world that's causing killings. We're talking about government upheaval. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about people trying to rebound from COVID and the mental uh, caverns that happened during that time. What would you tell people today, right now, today, if you had to give them, two or three things, like please begin to do this?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say?
Mm-hmm.
Again, not we don't have to label any of those things, but I'm just letting you know
No,
what's happening
absolutely.
around.
Absolutely. I mean, it's obvious. You can look around and see very, very simply that there are elements of our reality that are out of balance, right? Because there are things like war and death and all these elements that we don't want to see, right? Because we have compassion, right? And so I would say that in the midst of that witnessing, I would I would prompt everyone to see how we can bring our awareness back to, as I just mentioned, compassion. I think that's one of the most important emotional facets that we can develop. I practice and study many different forms of Dharma and Buddhism as well. And the primary thing is that if there's something in the world we don't want to see, right, number one, we can bring our awareness toward compassionate action, prayer, and thoughts, right? Because that immediately transmutes the energy body. And a lot of the time when it seems like there's forces in the world that feel too big for us to change, we often go into kind of a dispassion or depression or a lack of power, disempowerment. But actually, everything we think, do, and feel can actually change or bring a positive energy to the world, right? Because we're all interconnected cells, right? So the first thing we can do is bring our awareness back to the breath, bring our awareness back to the now moment, right? Which is meditation. So meditation would be number one. Number two is begin to see how can I be of benefit to anyone or anything in this moment? Like, because the now moment is the only thing that's really true and really real. So if you can give $1 to somebody who's struggling, if you can give a compassionate word to someone who's going through it, and then I would say the third thing would be to move and to play and find gratitude in anything and for anything. Because if you're alive right now, you have a lot to be grateful for, right? And I'd say that at the core of everything, it is just being alive that is the beginning of the rest of your life. Because if you can find the now moment, in those three things, in meditation, compassion, and in compassionate action for others, then all of a sudden your life will take, that's a turning point moment, right? Because you're turning your awareness, because where your energy goes, or where your awareness goes, your energy flows. So if you can find compassion and gratitude, all of a sudden the rest of your life starts from that moment, because now you've chosen the path of being thankful for what you have. And that changes your mind, it changes your cellular formation, literally, and it actually changes the chemistry of your body. Because we know that our thoughts and our emotions contribute to our glandular systems. It contributes to our endocrine system and our organ function. Like our entire life force can change based on how we think. So these are simple ways that I think will really benefit people, and yet are so profound if you really look at what's going on under the surface.
I mean, obviously profound. I mean, there's no rebuttal of that. I'm fascinated by the human experience because many times we live as though the answers are not here, and
Mm.
they're everywhere around us. I was
Mm.
speaking to someone the other day um, about eating, and I was hit with the same thing I'm normally hit with when I speak to somebody about eating. Like, oh, you eat so healthy. How do you not da 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 da? And I said, you can do that too. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, just eat more greens, drink more water, make some stuff at home. And they were like, yeah, but I'm on the run. That's too much time. I can't da 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 da. And then we went into a whole nother area, and I realized I couldn't help them because I
Mm.
found myself campaigning for the truth. Like, that is the truth. I'm not telling you something different, whatever. But I don't want to be preaching to you. So that's cool. Go ahead, do what you got to do. And then I walked away from the situation. But I say that to you specifically because the information that you gave this group, it's not new, but it's your delivery. It's the way that I look at you and see your physicality and your smile and your chain and your glow that gives people hope for what's to come. You've heard the story, I'm sure, and I'm just going to paraphrase it quick for people who haven't heard the story about the the two Buddhists that are walking across the terrain, and they get to the water and they see a woman that needs help, and one of the Buddhists picks her up and brings her across the water to the other side. And then they walk and walk and walk, and one guy says, "We're Buddhists. How did you help that woman across the water? We're not supposed to do that." And he said, "You're still back there, aren't you? I've forgotten all about that. You're all the way back on the other side of the water. Why are you still there?" When I heard that story, I thought, this is what we do to ourselves. And in conversation with people that we want to reconcile with, when you say things to people, hey, let's go forward. Let's start new. We're good right now. We're good. Let's go forward. Somehow, some way, because of our imbalance and our crazy little chasms in our brain and our heart, we want to go back to that area, and it's seemingly comfortable, but it's not comfortable, right? So when we talk about intake of food or conversation with people or whatever, it seems like one of the biggest things is the presence. We have to go back. The presence, actually, I say this all the time, is the most incredible place to be. What's better than newness? What's better than a fresh glass of water? What's better than a fresh piece of paper to write on? So this thing that we're talking about and those things that you suggested are all rooted in some sort of presence where what happened before, you don't have to think about as much or at all, really. And that's the part that I think is difficult. It literally happened to me the other day when I was speaking to someone and I was talking to them, and something about something that happened a long time ago came up. And my brain was like, oh, why are we talking about this? And I couldn't explain to them about moving forward. If you would speak to the comfortability or the speak to the fluidity of the present moment and why that's so important, especially where we are right now. Holy cow. Like, my goodness, this is the only time I've lived in, so I can only take from right now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very difficult. And I think in the comments, yeah, Fareed said letting go of the past is
Yeah,
difficult.
yeah,
And it is. And I think it's time. Time is one of the most difficult facets of our reality because of memory, right? Memory is the imprint of something that you experienced before the now, right? That's literally imprinted in your mind and in your body cellularly, right? And that memory, it actually creates the self-fulfilling prophecy that it will happen again, right?
yes,
So we create
yes,
our future based on our past, and
right,
then we're really trying to figure out why are we getting the same experiences over and over and over again?
right,
Because the deepest thing is that we're really living in the past future dichotomy, right? Both are unreal because the past is not here anymore and the future has yet to come. But it's a matter of, are we willing to rewrite our history, right? Are we willing to actually bring a sense of neutrality to our past and really looking at it and say, everything that I went through to get to this moment was necessary. And actually, even though it was difficult, it was beautiful because everything in nature has to go through a metamorphosis, right? You can look at any facet of our reality and in nature and see the transformation that it had to go through, right? You can look at the chrysalis of the butterfly. The butterfly has to go through this deep inner transformation and alchemy in order to bust the shell open and come out as the butterfly.
right,
So in order to let go of the past, we need to actually be able to look at our internal world and say, I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for the stripes that I earned and the difficulties that I went through, because now in this moment, I'm actually better and stronger because of it. And now
right,
I can acknowledge the work I had to do. I can accept all the ways that my life is trying to show me and teach me.
right,
And the
right,
most important term, and the last one is allowing, right? We have to allow our life to unfold without trying to control. Because a lot of the times we want to have the power or the control of how our future will unfold. And
right,
in a way, when we try to predefine what our future could be, we actually limit what the universe is trying to bring to us in a completely new reality that has to
yeah,
come when we let go of the control. And this is where surrender comes in.
correct,
One of the most beautiful forms of devotion and meditation is to surrender and say, I have no control. The only thing I have control over is my reaction, how I'm showing up. And if I can show up as my true self in love and allow the universe to bring to me the synchronicities, right, the connections that we need,
right,
we have this ability to ask, and this is what prayer is, or this is what our divine connection is to say, I'm ready for a new life, I'm ready for new energy, I'm ready for new and beautiful experiences, and I'm not going to let my past through fear cause me to try to predetermine what my life is going to be. And that's how I have lived in my own experience, and it's led me to so much beauty and joy, music and creation. And it's a trust fall. It's a major trust fall to allow your life to unfold effortlessly and organically. And it takes time to get there. But as new experiences come, you'll see that the distant past of your memories, it's just a little a picture behind you. You're not really
right.
looking back anymore. That's why in the movies they say, don't look back.
Don't look back.
The best way to
And
move forward is to not look back.
right, because in real time, right, if you're in the car, we're driving, we're good, we're having a good time, and I say, Daniel, look at that. Boom, you
Exactly.
crash. Isn't that amazing? That's just a simple car example, right?
Mhm.
And I can't look forward if I'm looking back. I'm going to hit whatever's in front of me because I can't do it. Quickly,
Mhm, mhm.
rapid fire, a couple questions.
All right,
And if
let's do
anyone
it.
has any questions, please raise your hand. I'll stop what I'm saying to Daniel and take your question if you have any questions. Um, what was the any books that have changed your life completely? A book you would recommend?
Yeah, yeah, we were talking about the now, and of course, there's The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, an incredible book. He's an absolute sage, really powerful being. And then I would say I would highly recommend people read the sutras, the Buddhist sutras, the teachings of the Buddha. A lot of the time we read commentaries or we hear little anecdotes, but I would read the Dhammapada. The Dhammapada is the original discourses of the Buddha Shakyamuni as he was sharing the Dharma and his enlightenment. And then I would say Dr. Joe Dispenza's books are incredible. Read anything by Dr. Joe. Again, this is all about how to transcend our life through bringing our awareness into the present moment. It's the most simple and profound experience that you can have, and it can redefine your whole life. And then look at and read what was the different ways that you can move your body more. So there's Katie Bowman, who's a biomechanist. I don't know if anyone has heard of her, but she has totally redefined my experience by going into eco-psychology and deep movement studies, understanding how we can change our life with movement alone. I would say that those are a few. There's so many more. And if anyone
I knew
wants,
you were going to knock that out. I knew it.
yeah, there's so many
I
more
know.
things we can
I just
share.
wanted a few. We're definitely bringing you back another time. I've had the pleasure of having such amazing guests. You are now uh, definitely in that group. Um, I'm excited. Daniel and I are going to play some music for the first time this Saturday with my band at Prohibition in New York City. I can't wait to be there with you. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And I really just want to thank you for, I mean, you did it organically, but your aura drew me to you. That's the reason why you're here. And we have so many things that we've yet to do. But I want to use you as an example of the fluidity when we, at the right time in our life, connect with energies. It's happened to me multiple times. I have so many incredible people in my life, I can't even count them. And most people will tell you they have 2 or 3 good friends, right? I'm not better than anyone. That's not why I said that. But the energy, wow, that is open to me on certain levels that I take in and recycle or put into my body, as in someone like you was like, oh my goodness, this is what I need right now. This is awesome. And I take it in, and all of a sudden it's like that image you see where you look at someone and their chest goes like that. You're like, yes, I'm here. I did it. I'm in the right place. Whatever that is, you would yep. See, there it is. There it is. When you're in that right place, you do it in drumming. I do it in singing. Nothing can stop me when I'm singing. I could have the worst day of my life. When I get on that stage, click, and everything is gone. That's my best example of presence that I can give myself, right? And I just appreciate you so much because these lessons, and I definitely will have you back probably in about 4 weeks. We'll talk about some stuff because this is not, conversation is way too short. There's so many things that I want to ask you. There's things that I'm sure the people in the group want to ask you. I just want to thank you for being here because I've said it so many times, but it's something that happened when I met you. I can't put it into the words the right way, but it was the right time. And as we are at time, and we're going to close down, does anyone have a quick question? Anyone? I feel like someone wants to.
I think Rashida is raising her
Is
hand.
she? Okay, Rashida, come on in.
Grand Rising, Daniel. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much. I really listen. The energy is just flowing around me, just being in your presence right now. And I am so happy that you mentioned the power of now. Everybody should read that book, The Power of Now. And once we read that book, we reach to our conscious level, have been.
That's
Thank
right.
you so much, Daniel. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Rashida.
That's the truth. That's the truth. My apologies. On my phone, I can't see the screen the same way. I don't know why I didn't see that hand. Anyway, so as we always do, I'd like to just give you a last couple sentences if you want to say anything on our outro before I do our actual outro. Anything at all?
Yeah, I just wanted to actually invite everyone to just take 3 deep breaths together. We're going to crystallize the energy of this experience. And we're going to breathe in with the sound of the bell. I don't know how well you can hear it, but if you want to just let everything in your external life, all the to-do lists, all the obligations, the schedule, let it go for a second. Bring your awareness in. You can close your eyes and just begin to breathe. And we're going to take a big, deep breath. 1. Breathe in, hold, and exhale. We're letting go of any anxiety, letting go of any fear, letting go of anything that we are thinking about incessantly. Breathe in 2. Hold, bring in all that beautiful, loving energy. Let the energy circulate in your body. Exhale. And we're going to do one more, and we're going to bring all this energy into the rest of our day. Breathe in, expand the lungs, expand your energy field to bring in all the beautiful opportunities that are here today in this moment. And exhale, sending all that love out to everyone in our lives so that everyone can begin to find that internal connection within and without. And I'm just so grateful to meet you all and to be a part of this wonderful community. Thank you for welcoming me in, CSG, and I hope to connect with you all soon. I also am offering movement classes, one-on-one coaching, all the things, because I really just want to see everyone thrive. And I'm just saying, yeah, wow, just gratitude. Thank you.
Incredible, incredible. Thank you, Daniel. You know, I'll be speaking with you. We'll be having a great time playing some music this Saturday at Prohibition in New York City. Psyched for that. Everyone else on the call, on the Zoom, on the group, please remember, live louder than you've been before. Please laugh out loud. Move your body, right? Sleep at least 7 hours, right? At least 7 hours a day. Please give it a shot to practice plant-based food consumption, even if it's for half a week. Just get it going, just see how it feels for you. No pressure. Also, please challenge all of your assumptions. Make sure that what's happening up here is what's happening here, and in concert with each other. And remember, please check yourself before you wreck yourself. It's important, right? Thank you so much, you guys. It's been amazing. I've experienced some powerful emotions today. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate you. Everyone else, have a spectacular day on purpose. Choose to be you authentically. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Chase.
One love, guys. One
Thank
love.
you, Chris. Excellent job, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Daniel.